Okay, so let's have a little chat here because I see this come up all the time in my coaching calls. And that is why I do certain things, structure my calls in certain ways so that I can overcome negativity bias, right? Our brains want to focus on things in black and white. It makes it very easy for our brain to make decisions when we see things in one way and there is no other way, right? It's either working or it's not working. It's either all or it's nothing. We see this play out in our society in lots of different areas. It's how our brains work. It is the function of a human brain. It is the remnant of a survival instinct of our brain. If we know the answer, we will be able to survive and procreate and thrive. But now, in the modern world, negativity bias can harm us if we are not questioning it, if we're not really looking for it, watching for it. And that's why coaching is so effective. It's because you have somebody who's looking at your brain and seeing the negativity bias and able to redirect your brain in the direction that you want to go. Because if you're thinking the thought, it's working, you're going to get a very different result than if you were thinking the thought, it's not working. Let me give you an example of this. And so I have a client who I was talking to about hitting his March goals. And in his March goal, he had a lot of thoughts about it not working. And it had all stemmed from his thoughts about his offer. He thought it was a complicated offer, that the people that he was approaching weren't going to understand it. And basically, he was giving up all of his power, all of his control over his ability to simplify the offer for his clients. And that's actually one of his strengths, is that he's very able to communicate in a very simple way his offer so that his clientele understand what his offer is and why they need his legal assistance. So once we understood what was going on with his brain and what he was thinking about his offer, it was really clear. Okay, this is the work. The work is to see your thoughts that it's not working and then understanding, okay, what are all the thoughts in between that you are missing that are much closer to it's working. Okay. And one of the thoughts that we discovered was is that, well, somebody actually purchased his legal services based on that offer in March. So that was one sign it was working. He actually had somebody tell him that in his firm that it was too high a priced offer. However, this client bought it at full price. It was not a discounted offer. He had lots of people attending his webinar. They viewed the offer. They showed up. They're opening the emails, right? Like these are all things showing that the offer was working. But the negativity bias that we have in our brain, that survival remnant, always points to it's not working. It's dangerous. It's not going to happen. Like, I don't have enough, right? Going into that lack mentality, lots of different thoughts like that are part of the negativity bias. But when we have that bias, we don't see all of the thoughts that can get us to it's working. Right. And maybe this is too far from you right now. So I want you to think about a goal that you have, something, maybe it's a financial goal. Maybe it is a goal to work less in the office. Maybe you just want to work 4 days a week. Like think of that goal and then ask yourself, what thoughts do you have about it? Are they closer to it's not working or it's working? Okay, ask yourself why. Why do you think it's not working? What are all the thoughts that are keeping you from believing that it's working? Now, notice we're just talking right now in black and white because that's how our brain tends to believe things. We either know it or we don't. Either it's working or it's not working. But what about the spectrum in the middle here? Because the spectrum in the middle is something that is equally important as believing 100% that it's working, that it's happening, that it is as good as done. Because these are the thoughts that help us move away from it's not working. We don't want to stay here. Okay. If we have a goal and we're thinking it's not working, we're not going to make it work by thinking this thought more. We want to get to this thought, that certainty, that confidence that it's done, right? We don't want to sit here in the despair and the disappointment of it's not done. Okay, so what are some of the spectrum thoughts? Now let's see if my little magic trick worked. It did. Okay. Sometimes it works. Just sometimes. Just get to that little baby step of sometimes it works. Just like with my client, he had someone sign up on the offer. His brain was telling him it wasn't working, and he was ignoring the fact that he actually made a sale on that offer. Okay. So just recognizing that sometimes it works. I could figure out how it can work. Like I can figure this out. Like the same client had hit his goal the prior month. And so he knew the ingredients that went into creating that success for him. And that's something I work on with my coaching clients when they have a success, when they've reached what they want to reach. We really analyze, we start to really look at what were the ingredients to that success. What do they need to evaluate? What can they evaluate in order to repeat that success? So that way, when you go back and you have like the next month and you don't hit your goal, you have something to compare it to. And that's the kind of work that he was doing and what he could see. Okay, I can figure out like what were the ingredients to last month's successes. Oh, I simplified the offer. I really explained it to them in a way where they understood that this was an essential thing that they needed. Another thought, oh, each step creates a compound effect. We tend to underestimate all of the work that we've done and the impact that it will have on our current results. So one of my clients who created a business on top of her legal practice, she has a great network of legal professionals, and she was able to contact those people in her network and really get a lot of interest in her new business based upon those connections. And one of the things that her brain wanted to do was discount the fact that she had done so much work on her creating her network, that was really part of her success during this particular run of the program that she was doing. And when we do that, we're really going into the negativity bias. We're not recognizing our successes, but we need to recognize our successes so that we can bring those into our future successes. We can see, okay, what was it that worked? And how can I repeat that? We want to really evaluate that. Recognizing the same thing goes with our schedule. Okay. So many overwhelmed lawyers come to me and they say, I've tried, planning before, it didn't work. And usually that means they tried it a couple weeks and then they dropped it. But the compound effect of managing your mind and managing your calendar every single week and seeing what worked and what didn't work, making evaluations, is what creates a better calendar, what creates better systems for you, what decreases the overwhelm, really thinking about how you use your time. And when we start really looking at the compound effect, then you see the time that you have gained back, the feeling of ease that you create. That is what you create over time. And that's something that I help my clients see, and I help calm down their brain so that way they can focus more on what's working in their business and what they can do to keep doing what is working in their business. Another thought in this spectrum between these two black and white angles is that there are things that are working. Focus your brain on what is working in your business. It could be small. I had another client who, and this is usually par for the course when I start up a client call. Clients want to run into all the things that were just so horrible last week, and it was just so hard. And that's our brain's natural negativity bias. That's where our brain wants to go. And so I work on focusing, like I structure my calls so that I focus their brain on what is working. Okay, what is working? What is working? And even if it's just showing up when you didn't want to, right? Like just showing up at the office when you didn't want to, completing a project, even though it was really hard. You could take pride in that, that you completed that. Even if you don't think that you had wins last week, I want to tell you right now that you do. Okay, so just look at what is working. And then another one, I know of some things that work, right? All of us have seen how other lawyers operate in the world. And one client was telling me, I've seen some of my partners, they use their secretary more effectively than I use my secretary. So you can see how other people are operating in the world. You know of some things that seem to work for other people. How might you make that work for you? Right? These are different spectrums to start helping you move away from this negativity bias of it's not working and getting closer and closer to it is working. Now, if you need help with this, you need help focusing your brain, that's what I do. That's what I help my clients with. Whether you're a lawyer who wants to, climb through partner ranks, or if you're a lawyer who wants to start a business on top of your legal practice, I'm doing that. I have other lawyers that I work with who are doing that. Or maybe you already own your own firm and you want to go for a goal that right now seems impossible for you and you need some help with it. I'm here for you. If you want to see if we're a good fit, you can go to the link in my bio, or you can go to dinacataldo.com and click on the Work With Me tab. Set up a time that works for you. And you know what? If you're on Instagram and you don't see a time that works for you, pro tip, just DM me, give me a few times that might work for you. And then that way, because I know that lawyers are really busy, I am there for you, whether or not you can make it on one of those times that's on my scheduler or not. Okay. So if you want some help, I am here for you. This is something that you can learn. Like this is, we look at coaching sometimes as like this magic voodoo, like if you're not introduced to these concepts already. And really, it can be very simple. And it's even simpler when you have someone who's helping you. But this is one concept that will help you get closer to where you want to be. All right. I will talk to you soon. Bye.